Very much an addiction metaphor throughout the whole thing. The fact they get strapped to the chair. The time limit is like that idea of like that first time of like you only get this amount of time and you're safe. You're going to be okay. And wanting to come back more, doing horrible things, but then still doing it again because the high is more than whatever you just experienced. And the fact that it's a party, it's a party trick. Like they're having fun.
Yeah, like a dissociation from like the accountability for your actions that comes with alcohol or drug use.
Yes, very much so. Very much. YUNKJunk! Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Do not adjust your eyes, folks. Yes, there are 2 men here, but there are also 2 women. As we continue our walk through Bootober with this stop on the mission brought to you by Philadelphia's premier #1 horror podcast. Yes, I said it. Gabe, Castro, Cat, Kushin, the Ghouls next door, back on the Micheaux Mission. Hello.
Wow. Thank
It has been a minute.
Happy to be here.
You said so many nice words about our podcast.
Yeah, now it's
Now we really have to show up. You know,
Right.
Well, it's
Don't
true.
let 'em down.
It is very true.
Yeah.
And if you do not believe what I have said, missionaries, then hold on tight because they are here to sit with us to review their pick for this stop on the mission. Talk to Me.
Talk to me.
From 2023, a very interesting, eerie, supernatural, psychological horror film that Gabe said, Len, have y'all done Talk to Me? I said, no. She said, well, you're doing it now. I said, okay, all right. And that's what we're going to be reviewing tonight here on The Mission as we stream live from YUNKJunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, to Instagram, to Facebook, and of course to YouTube, where each and every one of you are out there in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Evening one and all.
Gabe, Cat, it has been too long.
It has.
Been a minute, but as a horror podcast, as the premier horror podcast,
Been established.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that this month, October, is like, this is your season.
It's your Christmas.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
We plan.
We're spooky all year, but this is the year that people really get us and appreciate us. It's like they go to us for the content. And they have a whole illustrious backlog of it. We're at 290. We're recording our 290th episode.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lots to choose from. But yeah, it's popping. It's popping this month.
Yeah.
I can imagine. And the great thing about your podcast, Kat, is that it is a horror podcast, but it's not just simply because you like horror. Y'all go deep into it. Y'all actually have a more defined reason to be.
Yeah, the media analysis element to it, which is what we always tell people, like, put your glasses on. Because, not literally, but, media analysis glasses. Because we discuss the history, the psychology, the emotional stuff going on in the films to, like, give a little extra something. Why media means stuff.
Yeah, media literacy is our intention. So it's part film review and kind of dissecting, and then also we step outside of the film and we talk about whatever, the society or history part of it. So like They Cloned Tyrone, I'm talking about all of the really amazing, beautiful things in They Cloned Tyrone, just like aesthetically. And then Kat's like, did you know the CIA has been lying to us? And so you get like, oh, I get to be a film nerd. And then also I get this intense history lesson where now I question every person in power to ever exist.
Yeah, usually you're like, ow, society. Why? Like almost every episode we go in like with like thinking it's going to be like, maybe this will be a little lighter. No. It's always like, dang.
It's horror.
They're still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Real life is horrifying too.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And before we continue, our thoughts go out to all the missionaries that are in the Florida area right now. We hope that you are all safe and sound and secure
Yes.
for what promises or looks like is going to be a very, very dicey next 24 to 48 hours. So our thoughts go out to each and every one of you out there. Okay. All right. So with this being October, what do you have planned for your Ghouligans?
Yeah. So this month, our theme is Satanic Panic. So
Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
People who don't know what that is.
So there's the one main definition, which is like in the 70s, 80s, there's this thing called Satanic Panic, which was this idea that there were these cults out, like, taking children and taking their blood. There was like FBI and CIA investigations of these cults.
Over 12,000.
Yeah, lots of those.
12,000 investigations.
All discovered to not have real anything satanic happening.
Yeah. And then it influenced, of course, some of our favorite media like The Exorcist, The Omen, things like that. But we kind of took it another step too and thought about other instances of kind of satanic panic. So we talk about like the witchcraft trials. So like
The Salem witch.
so that was like a version of satanic panic.
Yeah, real talk. Real talk.
New England, right?
Yeah.
So we did The Witch last week. But it came because we actually noticed, I was like, there's 3 films this year that had satanic something in it. So like Maxine covers the Satanic Panic, which is the 3rd installment of Ty West's trilogy. Long Legs is about a serial killer working with Satan. And then Late Night with the Devil has like the TV host who's doing stuff with Satan. So it was like, I was like, okay, something's going on. There's also Immaculate, like all these films. And I was like, okay, it seems like society is feeling a new version of Satanic Panic. And we're seeing that with some of the like kind of craziness in some of the political areas. When you think about QAnon and all of that, like those are like the new wave of what Satanic Panic is. You know, the McCarthyism and all those things. It was just a new
spin.
Like, yeah, new spin, new paint job on it, right?
Yeah.
So we're covering kind of this idea of Satanic Panic and going through the different films that are covering that and like how society has approached those different time periods and how harmful it really was for people who actually needed help. And instead of getting help, they were like, exorcism.
Yeah.
Or because I'm old enough to have been a kid in the 80s, you finally convince all the guys on your street to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. God forbid.
And my mother's, and you all can't see the air quotes if you're listening, but I'm doing hard air quotes. My mother's religious friend actually came and broke up the game.
Wow.
Really?
Oh, it was a scene.
Because she heard the title of
She
it.
thought we were consorting with the devil.
Yeah.
It took me 3 months to convince the guys on my street to play Dungeons and Dragons.
For it to get broken up.
And then she came and just broke the whole thing up.
Oh,
Music,
yeah.
anything.
That's right.
It was like a whole thing. They
Oh,
had
yeah, the 80s.
specials about it. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't there, but
I've heard things.
but I heard about it.
It was. See, it wasn't with Dungeons and Dragons with me. It was the Ouija boards. Like they didn't like you playing with the Ouija board.
Now they sell them at Target. So
You didn't mess with the Ouija board?
No, I didn't mess with the Ouija.
I was like, you don't like ghosts.
I mean, consorting with it. Like, I wasn't actually consorting with the devil. I was playing Dungeons and Dragons. See, you went too far.
Yeah.
Why are you messing with the Ouija board?
yeah, they do say like don't.
imagination?
There was a Ouija board on Downton Abbey.
Yeah. It's like you can get
Has the devil shown up yet?
on Downton Abbey.
Well, you know,
Did you close it like at the end? You're
Yeah,
supposed
did
to
you
say
say
bye
goodbye?
or whatever.
I don't remember.
Well, then,
They
see,
give
you've
you
been
some
haunted
fun.
this whole time.
Have you ever had any supernatural things happen?
Now we're foreshadowing the review of the movie.
Yeah.
They're like,
Say goodbye.
it's like, y'all told me the rules.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to keep moving.
follow the rules you told me about.
Yeah.
At the very least.
What the hell, man? I have like a whole page that just says, what the hell, man? But we'll get to that. this fine film you all have brought to me.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Oh yeah, because Vincent does
Frustrated me in front of my screen.
because let me tell you, when I told Vincent, hey, the Ghouls are coming back, he's like, I don't know, man, they pick real horror movies.
To be fair, I was going to suggest not a real
No,
one.
to foreshadow, this film did not scare me in the least.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like emotionally scary, not so
just
much like
hurtful.
jump scare. It's more like, ow.
You know why this film didn't scare me.
Yeah, I know why.
Touching it.
You should have brought the hand.
I did. I should have brought my hand.
Oh, you should have put that.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, we could have played.
We could have played Talk to Me.
No, we could have played Talk to Me.
We're
Got you guys.
We'll be
We are
reviewing
kidding. We
later
would
in the
not do
episode.
that to you.
F around and find out
Yeah.
the movie.
Now, I mean, if you watch our episode on Talk to Me, it's like we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You see it and then you're like, all right, I don't need that in here. We're just gonna.
see that and go. Come on in.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Come in.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's scary.
it's very scary. It was very creepy movie. We're going to be reviewing that tonight, folks. But before we get to that, we're going to hear from you, which means your emails, or as we like to call them,
Missives from the Missionaries.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
we have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Mrs. from the Missionaries, we have an email, Vince. This is actually from Mo Poplar.
Hey, what's up, Mo?
What's up, gents? Us, which we reviewed last week. Wow, amazing film. I love Vincent's insight on how post-COVID Us hits differently. I remember when the film came out and I thought it was about class in Black America. Folks didn't want to hear that. It's easier to talk about how white folks be racist, but in this movie, Jordan Peele is talking about us, how we have our challenges within the race. It's interesting how your film review collided with the Ta-Nehisi Coates press junkets around his new book. Have y'all heard about? He's had some interesting interviews. He notes how about many people in the world, just because you have been the victim doesn't mean you can't turn around and become the victimizer. I think that sentiment is all over us. Len asked a question I always thought was provocative. Who are those escalators for? They weren't for Red. They weren't for Adelaide. They weren't for any of the people in this movie, but they were for someone. Like in Jack and the Beanstalk, those beans weren't for Jack. Who were they really for? I submit the escalators are for the man, that capitalist conspiracy figure that is the subject of, wait for it, they cloned Tyrone. Us opens up conversations about Bangladesh sweatshops, Chinese manufacturing, and stirs it up with the idea that impoverished places get thousands of Super Bowl t-shirts with the wrong winning teams. The tethered seems to be both out of sight, out of mind manufacturing, and the recipients of all the stuff we don't want. And we as Black Americans might be sensitive to their plights, but we don't say nothing even when they are us. Cue Ice Cube's Us from his Death Certificate album, a track about issues holding back the Black community and the United Slaves Organization. The U.S. organization was started in the late 60s as an alternative to and competitor of the Black Panthers in Los Angeles. That movie is deep, but more importantly, it was very entertaining. Mo P.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dissertation.
I know.
That's
Thank you,
amazing.
Maurice.
Thank you, Maurice.
Yeah, a lot in there.
And good luck on your doctorate.
Right. There's a lot of
Girl
food
Scouts
there. A
even
lot of, I
stepping
like
up.
that.
Okay, like one sentence. Oh, well, just more than that.
That's how he gets. Y'all were fans of Us, weren't you?
Yes.
Just checking,
We're in R.
making sure.
We did that in the New Year, New Me series because it's a new version of you.
It is. It is.
See, they have themes.
Yeah, themes. Yeah.
You have themes. You're like, this month we're doing,
Yeah.
We come up with.
Bootober.
Buto?
I come up with punny titles. You come up with themes to do analysis, breakdown. That's
I mean, based on the emails y'all are receiving, you do analysis too.
That's it.
We try to
Shoot
keep
your
up
own
with the
horn.
missionaries.
We got another email. This is from Ron Covington.
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, Len and Vince, finally caught your Candy Tangerine Man episode, and it was very entertaining. I actually saw that movie years ago at the Revival House, and it was crazy. At one point, you were talking about leading men that were questionable in their appeal. Somehow Jim Kelly's name came up, and we all know how Len feels about him. That's
We do.
right.
We do.
Ron Von Cleef's name came up too, and the Black Karate Man thing took over the discussion. This got me thinking about Michael Jai White, who appeared in some bigger budget movies in the past and some smaller interesting ones like Thick as Thieves that featured Andre Braugher and Alec Baldwin. Nowadays, White jumps between smaller chopsocky action movies and some ingenious parodies. My question is, where would you place him along the leading action man spectrum? Do you think he has some appeal as an actor beyond the physicality? As always, keep passing the mic, Ron Covington.
Ah, how you like Michael Jai White?
On the leading man spectrum?
I mean, action leading man.
Well, here's the thing about Michael Jai White. He definitely has the physicality.
Lesson. Yeah.
He's got the physicality down, right? I think as an actor, he's okay.
I think he's fine. I think Black Dynamite was real wish fulfillment
Yes.
because he would have been great in the 70s.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think he's fine.
I think he's fine. I don't think he is.
I don't think there's really a lane for him.
Well, I mean, I think if he was a better actor and maybe had a bit more charisma, he could have walked into the Wesley Snipes lane.
Yeah, it's a lot of space between him and Wesley Snipes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the
Right.
problem. That's the problem.
Right.
He has I think his physicality matches Wesley for the most part. He's probably he's maybe a little bit too buff to be seem like the everyman.
Did you see Rebel Ridge?
No.
It's good. It's way better than it should be, but I do think I brought it up. I think the level of acting that you're expected to be able to do, even in an action film, might be a little bit beyond White.
But that's a shame.
In the current landscape.
I know.
That's why I said the 70s and 80s he would have been right in the pocket.
That would have been his pocket, but I mean, it's not his pocket.
Right.
Are you fans of Michael Jai White? Ghouls.
I was just thinking that I watched Black Dynamite for the first time before the Clone Tyrone episode because I was like, let me understand where they're coming from and what's going
Malt
on.
liquor, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, let me know what they're doing.
Sure.
But yeah, what I was thinking of is like who are the current action stars? Because I'm thinking like the ones I think of aren't really that impressive with their acting. I'm like,
Well, to be honest, okay. Well, you think who are the current action stars? The first one, the only name that comes to my mind that is actually putting butts in the seats is Tom Cruise.
Right. And I think he's bigger than action star.
True. But I'm just saying,
Right.
I can't think of anyone else.
Well, I think that's sort of what I'm going. Like, what are even the quote unquote action movies? Like, is John Wick an action movie?
Well, yeah.
Or is it like a bigger,
I forgot about John Wick.
yeah.
I like John Wick, but
like the Bourne movies, are they action movies?
they were.
Or they're just sort of this big. So right. So we're talking about Keanu Reeves, Matt Damon.
Yeah, but even just
Tom Cruise.
The bald guy who plays the same guy all the time.
Michael Statham,
Yes. Jason
He
Statham.
is the
Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham is not
That's
a
all he
bad
does.
actor, though.
He's not a bad actor, and he probably is making. He's probably right now on solo making movies that if Michael Jai White was a little step above,
Right. He could be
closest
making
to
Michael Jai White.
Yeah, he could be making them because
I think Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I was like, he could outdo Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I mean, Fast and Furious is just a celebration, though.
yeah.
They're not even movies at this
cars
point.
go to
It's just a celebration.
It's just family.
It is family.
It's just family.
yeah.
Family and the suspension of the laws of physics,
God, yes.
Yes.
but mostly family.
God.
Good Corona.
But you said who could outdo The Rock? You think Michael Jai White could outdo The Rock?
Yeah, because he doesn't do anything.
The Rock?
Yeah, he's just the same guy every. He just plays himself, and he wears the same shirt. It was the same shirt in every film. There's like 3 movie posters. I couldn't tell you which movie it was.
This is a nice shirt. Do you have one 4 sizes smaller?
Yeah, and sweatier.
Yeah.
Let me run around the block a few times.
A baby
and then
oil.
have some pictures. Yeah.
Wow. See now
Strong opinions.
I'm going to be looking at the rock movie posters. I'm like, wow, it's the same shirt.
I'll send them to you.
And why is it so small?
Why is it so small?
Well,
Wet. Where is he that it's so wet?
you're in Alaska. Why are you?
Why are you sweating so much?
Well, I mean, the Rock is a superhero. Just
Holding his pecs.
all right. I'm going to keep moving.
All right.
We have it's special. We have 2 more emails. This is an email from Wamya Tembo.
Hey, Wanya.
Dear Len and Vince, hope you're well, and a big hello from Lusaka, Zambia.
Ah, very nice.
Recently watched the 2023 version of The Color Purple, which I didn't hate, but it definitely made me realize how much I treasure the OG version and made me miss a time when Danny Glover was in stuff that wasn't terrible movies with Danny Trejo. This realization led me to putting on the OG version, then the first Lethal Weapon and Predator 2.
Absolutely.
For my 4th one, I decided to watch something I hadn't seen and arrived at 1990s To Sleep with Anger,
Oh, my goodness.
based solely on the very weird, interesting poster and not knowing anything about it. As soon as the movie was done, I said to myself, that seems like a Micheaux mission-ass movie if I ever saw one.
Look, I'll take that as our brand. Could have been a stage play.
Very true.
Yeah, absolutely. That's us.
And sure enough, I found your review.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Totally agree with Vince. Danny Glover's spellbinding turn as Harry is easily his best work. I really enjoyed the film's balance of implied supernatural elements against the backdrop of the family tension. It's pretty wild how you can almost feel Harry's presence wreaking havoc and lingering in every frame from the moment he comes into the family's lives. I've got to disagree with Len, of course, about Charles Burnett's direction, though. I feel like this was a film where the actors and characters need to be in the foreground, and doing too much stylistically would have taken away from that, in my opinion. In short, I'm really glad I stumbled on this gem and hope more people get to appreciate it. Much love and thanks, Wamya.
Thank you, Wanya.
Thank you. And it is never too late for people to find To Sleep with Anger.
Right. Because even, I think they implied that you were critical, but that was not a criticism. That was an observation. I know you're a big fan of the film, too.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah,
love that
so-
movie. I absolutely love that movie.
If you two have never seen To Sleep with Anger.
Not.
Jesus.
But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Adding it.
Yeah. And the supernatural
I
in
was
it.
about to say, you all could actually use that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the other thing that I appreciate about your podcast is that it is horror, but sometimes I'll be looking, it's like, oh, what they reviewing? Animal House, like y'all find horror, like thrillers, and so that's
The
just
society
Yeah,
is scary.
think a folk horror film, but like the folk are Southern Black people.
Oh, good.
So
yeah. You should do that. Make it so. All right. Last email. This is from Michael Lockett.
hey, what's up, Michael?
It's written all over their face. You don't have to say a word. It's a subject. Len and Vince, thank you for a great kickoff to Bootober with Us by Jordan Peele. Quick aside, since Len's name is usually said first, does that make him the straight man of the comedy team? That's interesting. Yes.
Sure.
Back to Us. Sometimes I want to put this film ahead of Get Out. It's more stylish and beautiful. He really came into his craft on this and still made a damn good film from a conceptual angle. I think this film's performances may be better than those of Get Out's, as so much of the message was delivered to us viewers through the actors' expressions. All of the actors, but of course, especially Lupita. What do you think about that? Us possibly being better than Get Out?
I argue that they're too different to compare. I just find them in like different subcategories of the horror world because it gets really complex, right? And I think like Us was his true venture into horror.
Yeah.
And that was really like, I agree that it's phenomenally made. Like so much of it is thought out, like the dance sequence itself. Like every time I watch it, I find a new thing to geek out about. But the same can be said about Get Out. Like I also just find like he came out into the scene and was like, actually horror can do this. But it's more like thriller. It's more like psychological where Us does have more of those, like it's got more gore, it's got more of the usual rising tension, and the same thing with like Nope. Also, totally, that's just a creature feature, you know. It's a big monster. So, I think I would never argue that one Jordan Peele is better than any other Jordan Peele. I might have a favorite of directors.
All right. Michael continues. On my time travels, I landed on 1989's Glory.
Okay.
I found that, like you two and your guest, Mr. Ng, rewatching this film made me wish they had taken a different angle on what story was going to be the main through line. Which Thribble, that's a threesome with Ribble, who was the most, Thripple, was the most captivating. I couldn't pick, and maybe Zwick and the studio couldn't either, so we got something really good that could have been exceptional. Great performances abound, especially from Andre Braugher, Denzel Washington, and Morgan Freeman playing himself. In many instances, like Us, the cast gives us so much context and feeling just from their faces. I love it. A quick question, since I'm a horror guy at heart.
Okay, I was about to say, here we go.
All right. I've seen Denzel Washington do a lot of things, but never an honest-to-God horror film. If you two had to cast him in a horror film or franchise, where do you think he could deliver a Denzel-worthy performance in this genre? All the best, Michael. I was going to say, I think maybe the closest to horror he's come.
Isn't there one where someone's possessed?
Yeah. I wanted to say The Bone Collector, but it's not The Bone Collector.
No, it's not The Bone Collector.
It's
like Fallen, or
I think it's Fallen.
is it called Fallen?
I think that might be it.
Yeah.
I think that might be it. What say you, Ghouls?
Do you have an idea? If not, I think what would be really fun would be throwing him in the Saw franchise. Get a nice police procedural. That's what it is. Get down, get to the bottom of the case. I could see him delivering that and being really grounding for it too.
Did you see the one with Chris Rock?
I did,
And?
unfortunately.
Oh.
Ooh.
Someone missed the entire mark of that film franchise. Ooh. Yeah, I did see that one. It was really sad.
I have an answer.
Go ahead.
I think older Denzel now, as he becomes more and more kind of this sort of stage thespian, I think he could be in our Blackula remake.
As the title character?
What's Blackula's name?
Meta World Peace?
We just said, the two worst things about Blackula is you can't call it Blackula.
Right.
Yeah.
And the special effects.
But so you would cast him though as
I would cast him as Prince. Oh my goodness, his name is but yes, the lead.
Oh wow. I don't know if I would go there. That's good. I mean, that's a good call. But to your point, Gabe, the movie was Fallen from 1998, starring Denzel Washington. It is classified as a supernatural thriller where Denzel plays a Philadelphia police detective who is investigating occult murders committed by an apparent copycat killer. The movie also stars John Goodman, Donald Sutherland, James Gandolfini.
This movie.
It's from 1998. It's developed a bit of a cult following.
Yeah.
It didn't hit big because it's a different genre for Denzel, because it was made for $46 million, only made 25. No. But yeah. I couldn't call it. But
Denzel Washington is Prince Mama Walde.
Okay, that's what it was.
Prince Mamuwalde.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You get your extended sequence that you always talk about from the 18th century when Dracula actually turns them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, throw a little razzle dazzle into it and make it a period piece. Like have him wake up in the 70s. Imagine him in American Gangster mode.
So he just takes a bite out of Idris Elba in the middle.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see that. I can see. Well, so now you sold me on it.
I'm telling you.
Now you sold it.
Call it Mama Walde.
Mama Walde, American Vampire.
Have one scene where somebody calls him Blackula and he rips them to shreds.
Yes.
You like a Blackula. Like get the dude from Superman who says, "Whoa, Jack, look at your threads." But he says it to like Prince Mamuwalde. He says, "You're like a Blackula," and then he rips him to shreds. And that's the only time it's referenced in the whole film.
I thought you were going to say you get Richard Pryor, because Richard Pryor has a famous bit where he's a drunk guy that meets Dracula
Right.
in the middle of the street. He's like, "What's up with your natural?"
Right, right.
It rings in my head all the time. Yes. All right. Well, that's our emails,
All right. Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. If you want to have your emails read here online, just send them in to the Micheaux Mission at gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION at gmail.com. We're going to keep this train a moving. It is now time for the top 5.
All right.
Top 5. Who's your top 5? My top 5 is. My top 5 is. My top 5 is.
Top 5, where I create a list and I read said list to our guests, and they provide me and you with scintillating commentary.
No
Excellent.
pressure.
Yeah.
I just do what straight men do. All right, so keeping it in theme. Tonight, the Ghouls Next Door have brought to the mission Talk to Me from 2023, I believe, is when this film came out.
Seems accurate, yeah.
A very, very underrated film, but highly praised by the people that enjoy it.
Yeah.
But a film I found with a very unoriginal title. Because there are not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 other feature-length films
Really?
All talk to me. Yeah.
titled Talk to Me.
Interesting. I only know the one, so I'm interested to see the other 4.
So, and these are just the full-length films,
Okay.
because there are another 20 short films
Call Talk to Me.
called Talk to Me.
Okay.
All right. So this top 5 is who you talking to? Which film
Okay.
has earned the title of Talk to Me? Okay. You will be the judge. I will read the films.
Oh, okay. We got the synopsis.
Yeah.
I have the synopsis.
I was like, I haven't seen
You just, I told you.
Already.
I don't know. I know one, Len. No. Okay. So next week. So first, at number 5, we have Talk to Me from 1990. This one is from 1997. A couple of relationship challenged people try to find love over a party sex line. Reluctant to reveal her true identity, Betty uses her mother's first name as an introduction to the wonderful sounding Arnold. She is shocked that they are able to turn each other on over the phone and promptly decides that he is the man of her present day dreams. After some clever detective work, she locates him and they go out on a date. Surprisingly, they don't click in the flesh as they did out of the flesh. She doesn't give up and subsequently discovers Loverboy has a hang up with liars. This film that stars Cheryl Clifford and Peter Welch, directed by George Guerra from 1997. Talk to Me. Does that sound like a film worthy of the title Talk to Me?
It sounds like Love is Blind.
Yeah.
It sounds like you talk through a wall and then you see them for the first time and you're like, look. No, a lot of red flags in there.
Yeah.
A lot of red flags.
I think it sounds like that episode of Good Times where they were talking about the newest craze CB radios. And Michael pretended to be JJ. And then he started a little relationship with Fun Girl, who said she liked to ski and roller skate and do all of these different activities, but come to find out that she was wheelchair bound.
Oh, she could still like to roller.
A quick editorial note. Dylan, we need a whiteboard in here so that we can mark every time Vincent compares one of the films to a 70s sitcom.
Absolutely.
We could just stroke that off on the whiteboard, all right?
Absolutely, because that's each season had 38 episodes, so they covered everything.
They did. They did. All right. Well, that was number 5.
All right.
Number 4, from 1996, we have a made-for-TV drama called Talk to Me,
Oh, okay. Right.
starring Yasmin Bleeth, Veronica Hamill, and Peter Scolari.
Sure.
The film aired on ABC. Diane Shepard is an idealistic talk show producer who is conscience-stricken when she clashes with her ratings-obsessed and ruthless talk show executive boss. Diane is forced to produce a tantalizing program about a prostitute, which potentially harms the prostitute who is trying to turn her life around. In 1996's made-for-TV drama, Talk to Me, directed by Graham Campbell. Does that sound like a Talk to Me film? Cat.
It could be called Talk Show. And then
It could be called Talk Show.
instead.
Talk show.
As someone who knows a lot of people who have talk shows, they all got talking in them.
Yeah.
Saw the talk show, talking the walk. If it wasn't in 96, then maybe it'd have a good chance. Like, if it was made today, maybe it would.
Yeah. I feel
But
like
I do not have
not
confidence
aging well.
of in
I haven't seen it,
the world of Law and Order that
There.
such a case would be taken with care. Nope.
I'm surprised it wasn't called Street Talking,
Yeah,
like a play on the Street
Oh, that would've been
Walker.
fun.
That would have been
Street
better.
Walker.
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You should name movies.
I know. Said that for years.
Yeah.
Number 3, we have
What's this one called?
from 1984. It's an independent drama titled Talk to Me,
Okay, right. Talk to me.
starring character actor Austin Pendleton, who I actually just saw. He is actually a recurring character on the last 3 seasons of Homicide: Life on the Streets. This stars Austin in a rare leading role and co-stars Michael Murphy. The film was produced by the Hollins Communications Institution to benefit the American Institute for Stuttering, of which Pendleton was a graduate. Richard, a successful New York accountant whose idea of exercise is to go to the movies and to whom Central Park is the great outdoors, hasn't exactly taken life by the horns. He has a chronic stuttering problem and has caused great exhaustion and strife for him. After trying a number of different therapies to alleviate his condition, he decides to enter the real-life Hollins Institute, an actual treatment center devoted to the research, cure for stuttering. With the help of a kind, devoted doctor and an attractive young fellow patient, Richard goes on a journey to overcome his condition and his inner demons. In 1984's
Goodness.
Talk to Me.
Yeah.
That sounds deep.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's earned to talk to me, but I feel like I want to give it to her. Just,
I think it should be called
okay.
to talk to me.
Vincent, wow.
Hear me out.
Wow.
So it starts
Wow.
with the stutter, but it ends with the definitive me because it's his journey. Kat said I should name me.
Oh no. I have co-signed it, but
I think there's probably something like, I guess my question is like, when they're doing the treatment, is it involving talking to them? Because he said he goes to the movies, so I feel like it should be something like that.
listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like you dropped that inner demons thing at the end, like, and also he drinks too much.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, wait.
All right. So that doesn't earn Talk to Me. I think it earns.
Communication.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Number 2.
Number 2. What's this one called?
This is from 1980, directed by Anthony Spinelli, and starring Jesse St. James, John Leslie, Richard Pacheco, and Juliet Anderson and Sharon Keane, we have Talk Dirty to Me.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That should have been that other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
This film is considered one of the seminal films of the latter part of the golden age of porn.
Okay, right. A seminal film.
A self-proclaimed ladies' man brags to his somewhat dense buddy that he can seduce any woman he wants to. To prove it, he sets his sights on a beautiful blonde that they have both recently met. The film was followed by more than a dozen sequels into the 2000s, though beyond the first 5 films, relevance to the original film and Leslie's character disappears.
So it's like The Thin Man, but with porn.
Yes.
You're laughing, but that's a complete accurate.
That is a very accurate. That is. One sequel is actually notable. Talk Dirty to Me Part 3.
Sure, yeah. The last of the original trilogy.
Because it featured an early role by Tracy Lords of porn.
Oh. So is this during the period where she was underage?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, big yikes.
Yeah.
Not
It
fun.
was from the 80s, right?
It's from the 80.
From the 80s.
The 80.
19 of the 80.
Yeah.
So that was Talk Dirty to Me.
Yeah. I think it earned Talk Dirty to Me.
It does.
Yeah.
It
For
absolutely
sure.
sounds dirty.
I love a film that starts its synopsis with just insulting the main characters. This dumbass and his ditz friend gotta hit on a hot lady. Like, I'm in. Show me
You
these.
do a
two
bad job. Now you know.
Sets up like a good expectation.
Well, this is an audience that's watching hardcore pornography in a theater.
And it's got a plot.
Yeah.
So
It's got a, yeah.
Right. Like you kind of understand the satanic panic.
yeah.
Like, what the hell's going on?
I mean, it was bold of them to release that in the
Community.
80s.
Going to the movies.
That was like when they were all mad about it. So.
That's true.
Yeah, the 80s.
All right.
All right.
And number 1
Of course.
from 2007.
There it is.
Biographical film directed by Cassie Lemons and starring Don Cheadle, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Taraji P. Henson, Cedric the Entertainer, and Mike Epps. We have Talk to Me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
About Washington, D.C. radio personality Petey Green, an ex-con who became a popular talk show host and community activist, and Dewey Hughes, his friend and manager. The film spans a time period between 66 and 84, ending with Green's memorial service. We actually just recently reviewed the documentary on the life of Petey Green. But this is Talk to Me, the biographical film, which we also have reviewed. You can check the archives of the Micheaux Mission. A film that we both enjoyed
A great deal.
a great deal.
That's when I started paying attention to Taraji P. Henson.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was the film that, as far as I knew, was Talk to Me.
Was the Talk to Me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like it earns the name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems similar to the talk show, Talk
Yeah.
to Me. That's why it's called Talk to Me. I'm going to go back to the one, the stuttering one as being the Talk to Me.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're landing that Talk to Me from '84 with Austin Pendleton. That is the movie
the true
that is
Talk to
that
Me.
is the
Talk
true
to Me.
Talk to Me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
All right.
I don't know. I feel like you could come up with a different name for this one.
You're right. You could.
Yeah.
Like it could have been called like Petey's Greens.
You could have.
Good.
It could have done that. And there's probably a number of reasons why it wasn't. But it could have.
I just thought you appreciate it. I was like, you should name movies and everything since then.
I know.
Dang, I gave my compliment.
Which is why when he says it, all eyes go to you.
There you go.
Look what you did.
There you go. There you go.
Oh my God.
That's fine. We now have forever in the future. When he does this again, we'll just say
Blame me.
blame cat.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Now I see why you named
That's
that
what our emails will be.
your months. I'm seeing it now.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, that's the top 5,
All right.
folks.
We did it.
You like it? I hope so. That was it. All right. It is now time for what we proudly proclaim as the Game of Kings.
Deadlier game than consorting with spirits with teenagers.
It is now time for 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where I have 2 actors and Vincent has 6 films or less to connect them to D'Urville Martin, the man who will never be copied, who will never be remade. The one and only D'Urville Martin.
One and only.
You have lifelines today to help
I know.
the Ghouls Next Door
That's right.
of the awesome Ghouls Next Door podcast, available wherever you find podcasts
That's true.
and on all social media. And do you have a YouTube channel? They're on YouTube as well. You can find them. Look at them. They are the best horror podcast on the planet. Wow. I said it. At me. Okay.
When we win an award, we'll give it to us
another.
and give us like the intro.
Award winning.
Yeah.
There you go. Vincent will name the award.
Okay. Kat said I could name.
All right, Vincent. I want to say keeping in theme.
Yes.
I literally had no.
There's no theme.
I literally just had to look up people.
Okay, who we got? Who's the first person you looked up?
But I looked this person up knowing that you would have lifelines.
Okay, all right.
So in 6 films or less.
6 films or less.
Connect. Oh, that's why. That's why.
Okay.
This one is in theme.
Okay, this
Because we're reviewing Talk to Me,
we are.
which is a fantastic horror film from 2023. That is an Australian film.
Yes.
So this is an Australian actor.
Oh boy, it's not like Crocodile Dundee, is it?
No,
Okay.
no. In 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin to
2.
Cody Smith McPhee.
No. Oh my goodness. Let me see the picture. Let me see a picture. Cover the bottom. Right, because that's a young boy.
Yes, you see him?
Yes. I do not know. I have never seen that man in my life.
He's been in quite a few films.
Yeah.
that I've seen.
I might have seen it. And then
Let me see his face again.
I have that special kind of ADHD where he asks
Yeah.
a question.
Scintillating radio.
Oh, I'm looking right at him.
Yes, you were looking at
Because
the
he's
picture.
always around. And what is he? What's the last thing he was in?
The last movie he was in was from 2024,
I was about to say he's always around.
Maria.
Maria.
You asked for the last film.
What's the one before that? I'm not familiar with Maria.
The one before that was also from 2024.
Okay.
Memoir of a Snail.
What is that? An art film? I thought he was a bigger star than that.
And he's a voice actor in that.
Vince named that one, actually.
Yeah. What's the last one he was in with his face?
That would be Maria.
Before Maria. Yes. Come on, let's keep moving. We gotta talk about the children making bad choices.
All right.
What am I looking at him
He
in?
was in 2022's Elvis.
Oh.
I'm not giving you anything else.
Wait, he wasn't Elvis though.
No.
No. he's not.
Right, the other boy was Elvis. What's the boy's name that played Elvis in that?
Austin Butler, right? Am I wrong?
Right.
You're correct.
Okay. I'm correct.
Now, is that the one that Tom Hanks is the colonel?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, all right. Well, let's just.
Okay.
let's-
So now that we've given it to you.
No. I knew Tom Hanks was the colonel because it's weird. Tom Hanks playing a bad guy, and it's like the second musical movie where he plays a manager
Yes.
because he played one in That Thing You Do. Yeah. So D'Urville Martin is in 5 on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is in Philadelphia with Tom Hanks. And then Tom Hanks is in Elvis with Cody
Smith McPhee.
Smith McPhee. Yeah, who's he playing Elvis?
Let's see. Who is he in Elvis? He is, go to the cast. He plays Jimmy Rogers Snow.
I'm not sure who that is.
He's somebody in Elvis.
No.
But
Did you see Elvis? Did you see it?
no, I didn't see it. I was
Yeah, it's on my list. I'm kind of fascinated by
not interested.
how they're going to package it.
Now, here's the thing. He's in Elvis. He's also, and I'm just going to name movies that I think that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
X-Men Apocalypse.
I did not see X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, okay. He actually has a feature film in that role. He's Nightcrawler.
Vince fact. I don't really like the X-Men movies.
No.
None of them?
I think First Class is kind of interesting.
First Class is the best one.
But yeah, I don't like the X-Men movies.
As Nightcrawler, he makes a cameo in Deadpool 2. He's also in Dark Phoenix, again as...
Yeah.
He plays Nicholas Joseph von Sternberg in Dolomite Is My Name.
I have no memory of
Me neither.
white people in Dolomite is my name. There were white people in Dolomite? Like, he's not the dude that told
At
Dolomite.
least Cody Smith
Right.
And then he has the other films that you didn't know.
Right. Okay.
Snail.
Yeah, because Young Boy.
Yeah, he's born in 96.
Oh, my God.
I know, right?
Sneakers older than him. All right. Well, who's the second person who hopefully isn't as depressing as a boy who was born after some sneakers I bought? Got like Air Max 95s older than him. Well, it's right there in the name. He came out in 95.
All right. Next is an actor who is not from
Not from Australia.
Australia. I have no idea.
Maybe they've been to Australia.
This actor has been to Australia.
This actor has been to Australia. Okay.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In 6 films or less, connect Derville Martin to Jill Clayburgh.
Jill Clayburgh.
White women are his kryptonite.
Let me see her. Yeah, because she's an older white woman too.
Yeah.
She's like in that.
I got to go to a different, because this Wikipedia page picture is not going to help you.
Yeah, because she's older than that.
That's not her. That's not her, like, her look.
Right.
Hold on. Let me get her.
Lord, she looks like somebody who'd be
There you go.
like
That's
the third person in a Nora Ephron film.
Oh, yes.
That's her.
I've seen this lady.
Oh, come on, Lynn. What is she in? What
What do you mean? What is she
Where
in?
is she then?
Well, she's unfortunately has passed away, but
I'm supposed to feel bad about that? Like,
well, we know you don't.
right? Like, I didn't know she was alive.
Where the fuck she at? She dead.
What was she in? What was the last thing she was in before she died?
She was in 2024's Maria. No.
Imagine. Oh my God.
She did yesterday.
It's terrible.
Just missed her.
I don't want to give you the last thing she was in because it'll make it too easy for you.
She was like in Do the Right Thing.
No, she wasn't in Do the Right.
Lady one who buys the pizza.
No. I'll give it to you. It's late. She was in Bridesmaids.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
What is she playing? Bridesmaids.
Judy Walker.
Oh, she's a mom?
Yeah, she's probably one.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
All right.
She paints.
that was her. Actually, her last film.
All right. Well, I'll use her because she's been on my mind. She's so good. So
Jill Clayburgh's been on your mind.
no. But Maya Rudolph has been on my mind.
Like,
Maya Rudolph.
how are
I don't
you?
care about this lady.
And then all of a sudden, she's like,
Right. No, she was not on my mind at
I was
all.
brushing my teeth thinking about Jill Clayburgh.
Came up there, Clayburgh. No.
Not a day goes by.
All right. So we're how do I want to get to this?
This has a name. Jill Clayburgh.
How do I want to get to Jill Clayburgh in Bridesmaids? Because that's Maya Rudolph. Is Melissa McCarthy in that?
Yes.
and I'll just use Maya Rudolph. Well, you don't see Maya Rudolph in movies as much as I think.
No, she does live television.
Yeah, but Derville Martin is in. Oh, here you go. Here's a nice roundabout way. Derville Martin is in Sheba Baby with Pam Grier. Pam Grier is in Posse with Mario Van Peebles. Mario Van Peebles is in New Jack City with Chris Rock. Chris Rock is in Grown Ups. I think Grown Ups is where Maya Rudolph plays his wife. And then Maya Rudolph is in Bridesmaids with Joe Clayborg.
Okay, let's just confirm Grown Ups just to be on the safe side.
I think he's right.
Yep, you're right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. What else is she in? What's she in that I would know?
Jill Clayburgh?
Yeah. Is she
She
star in anything?
yes. Doesn't mean you'll know it. She starred in Gable and Lombard.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
What year is it? 19 what?
It's from 1976.
Who else is in that?
Look, it's the life story of Clark Gable and Carol Lombard.
I mean, of course.
I mean, she's not I wouldn't have cast her as Carol.
Sure.
She was in Silver Streak. I know you saw Silver Streak.
Is she in Silver Streak? Is she the love interest?
Yes. She's in Semi Tough. Did you see Semi Tough, the football movie?
I've not seen Semi Tough probably damn near since it came out.
You said
What is that? What year is that? Like 80?
no, that's
70.
We're still in the 70s.
Yeah, Semi Tough is
70s was her era. That was the era of Jill Clayburgh. I mean, because she was in.
I knew she was old because her name was Jill.
You know that actually,
Like, what's the youngest Jill that you know?
that actually tracks. She was in. You saw this movie, The Terminal Man.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's science fiction. You know that.
yeah.
And she was in Starting Over with Burt Reynolds.
I didn't know it was another one because that's Burt Reynolds and not Lonnie Anderson.
Not a land.
Who's the blonde in that?
Candice Bergen.
Is that Candice Bergen? I thought Starting Over was a little light.
It is light.
Yeah, but Candice
It's a comedy.
Yeah, I knew it was a comedy. Why did I think it was like Lonnie Anderson?
Lonnie Anderson. No, Lonnie Anderson was busy doing TV.
Who was Burt
Lonnie
Reynolds'
Anderson
love?
hardly did any
Who was
movies.
Burt Reynolds' lady in the 80s?
It was Lonnie Anderson.
Yeah, okay. What was he in with her? I know we got to go. But
I don't think he was in any movies with her.
Right. Because I felt like,
No.
what am I?
No. Burt Reynolds' lady in the 80s was Sally Fields.
No, but I mean in the movies.
No, but
Right,
him
like-
and Sally Fields did a movie.
I mean, did they do something besides Smokey and the Bandit?
Okay, well, they did Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, okay.
But then he left Sally Fields and then he marries Lonnie Anderson.
Right. And I thought Starting Over was
No. Lonnie Anderson did no movies, man. She was making that WKRP money.
All right.
And
This has been 70s movies that no one remembers but Lynn. With your host, Lynn.
wow.
And his co-host,
Wow.
Vince, who kind of remembers them.
Wow. Just back the truck all the way up over my ass. Anyway.
What's the name of the movie that she starred in, Lynn?
What?
The Clark Gable story.
Gable and Lombard.
Gabriel Lombard's, has there been a Blu-ray treatment of that?
I'm sure there has. Look, man.
Hey, look, all right, look.
It's not a good movie.
All right. She's probably been to Australia
She's been to Australia many times.
many times. Slow down over there. Chamber of Commerce. Visit Australia. Demon spiders. Surprisingly buff kangaroos. And Jill, what's her name?
So ignorant. Jill Clayburgh.
And Jill Clayburgh.
Look, she's won awards.
Did she really?
Yes.
What she win?
Wait a minute.
Did she win an Oscar? You said she won awards. She's an actress.
She's been nominated.
She's awarded a nomination.
So she's not award winning like the Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry to Claiborne.
Let's move on. Whoops.
Jill Claiborne.
It is now time for us to review.
Like if you shook the hand and said, talk to me and said, where's Jill Claiborne? The ghost will say, who?
We're going to review 2023's Talk to Me with the Ghouls Next Door right here on the Micheaux Mission. Enough for you. Let me go to my notes here. Talk to me. When a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. Talk to Me is a supernatural horror film directed by the brother team of Danny and Michael Philippou. I'm going to mispronounce their name. I apologize. Philippou, in their feature directorial debut. In the film written by both, it stars Sophie Wilde, Alexandra Jensen, Joe Bird, Otis Hanji, Miranda Otto, and Zoe Trakes. The film premiered at the Adelaide Film Festival in 2022 and was released in 2023 to acclaim from critics who praised its story, direction, horror sequences, practical effects, sound design, as well as the performances, especially of Sophie Wilde. It was a box office success. Off of a $4 million budget, it would go on to gross $93 million, becoming A24's highest grossing horror film and third highest grossing film overall.
Wow.
A sequel is currently in development for Talk to Me, which the Ghouls Next Door, Gabe and Kat, brought to the mission tonight for this stop in Bootober. Ghouls, what say you of Talk to Me?
Yeah. I mean, it's an emotional movie more than anything else. Like, as we kind of said earlier, is like the horror is not so much the scary things that are happening, but like the tragedy that is existing and like experiencing the trauma and the loss and then like grappling with a connection to the afterlife and the supernatural because of that grief and loss. So yeah, less like, and more like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because on its trappings, you know, especially considering that it's a film that's about, you know, starts with a group of kids at like some rowdy party in Australia, because this film is it's made and set in Australia by Australian actors and directors and crew. But that is like your classic setup for virtually like pick a horror movie out of the last 20, 30 years. Yet this totally, you know, goes left from there.
Yeah, it definitely is, I'd say, one of my top favorite horror films ever. I would go to say, yeah.
Wow.
It's definitely one of my top for a variety of reasons. But as you're saying, like, I think it does horror really well. And not like the jump scare, but just like there's a lot of clever like effects and a lot of thought that went through it. And that came from the directors who, you know, their claim to fame was just a bunch of really amazing YouTube videos that they would make together.
Yeah, 1 billion views on their YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, and just to like mess with special effects and CG, like to learn that for themselves, and then taking this. But also, as Kat was saying, just the emotional aspects to it. And I really just love this idea. Like, we've come through so many iterations of like the possession or communing with the devil type film, and I felt like it was so like such a Gen Z response to confirming that supernatural things exist. Like, the other side exists. There is an afterlife. It's scary. There are ghosts. Anyone else, like the Ouija board, any of that, there comes like some level of like oh, we don't mess with that once it becomes real. But for them, they're like, no, it's a party now. Like now it's
a party
like,
game. It's an app.
we're putting it online, but
Right.
we're not even just online. We're sharing it in a group chat, right? So it's not online. We're not even telling anyone that we discovered that there's another world. Instead, it's something that we're going through together. It's a secret, and it's just like it just felt to me like such a Gen Z approach to something that would scare everybody else.
I actually thought the generational part of it was handled so well, because an extension to what you're saying, I thought they did a really good job of showing that there is a generation of people that sort of objective reality and the spectacle that you see on the screen is blurred. Like Mia spent so much time looking at videos of her mother. Almost every scene, there's a kid on a phone.
Yeah.
And you know, you get a version of that, you know, really cynical picture that you see of people at a concert. And they're not looking at the concert, they're looking at the phone, looking at the concert. And I think you're right. Like I think, all jokes aside, for someone like me, you know, I always start with, why are these people doing this? But I thought between the generational aspect and the way it captured Mia's grief, you get it. Like you understand the decisions that the people in this film make, which in my mind is the highest compliment I could pay a film that you know plays it fair. Like it very early on, like you said, this is real. All of it. Like I love the fact that all of the characters actually experience the hand. So there's never a moment where someone is, well, you know, after the initial moment of, oh, they're kind of playing. No, this is real. We've all gone through it. But because of the framework they've set up, it doesn't throw me out of it as the viewer. Like, well, what the hell are they doing? So, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like desensitization that comes with later generations. Like ours definitely growing up just like in the shadow of 9/11. Then you have a whole generation that doesn't even know about that, but they have access to anything on the internet. And so, yeah, it is like there is a distortion between reality and what they're seeing on a screen. And even their perception of self is really twisted. And so, yeah, I think it felt very believable in that way that, of course, that's the way that they would handle it. And yeah, it just has that extra layer of just the grief and the sadness. And like, you absolutely understand why Mia did what she did. And it sets her up for failure and you're like, oh, she's going. She's going straight in there. You could, even knowing like, you can tell immediately, okay, this is what's going to happen. And it still is a fun ride the whole time. Like you're still emotionally
It's a slow train wreck. Like you know her mom's going to show up. Or, you know, something pretending to be her mom.
Yeah. But the one thing that really, many things hit me in this movie, but the one thing that really did hit me was the idea that these kids, you know, they just see like, oh my God, we can they don't even, it doesn't even dawn on them like we're talking to the other side. It's that it's a new high, you know, that's, and that's all it is. Like it boils down to that, you know, it's like, it's just this rush that they can't get enough of. And I thought, you know, this movie playing fair and showing the addictive, you know, how that could be so addictive and pulls everyone in. And even though you're filming it, it still becomes very much of a society in and of itself, because there's probably tons of people, because if you're watching online, there are some people who are voicing it like the one girl, oh, they're just playing. They're just playing tricks on you. You know, it's the whole seance type of thing going on. But when you're actually in the room, you're like, oh, whoa. Especially when you know it's your friend and you know that they're not in on the joke. So you're like, yo, what's going on? This is it's crazy. I really like them playing with that that was smartly, very smartly done.
Yeah, very much an addiction metaphor throughout the whole thing. The fact they get strapped to the
Yeah,
chair.
yeah,
The
yeah.
time limit is like that idea of like that first time of like you only get this amount of time and you're safe. You're going to be okay. And wanting to come back more, doing horrible things, but then still doing it again because the high is more than whatever you just experienced. And the fact that it's a party, like
Yeah.
it's a party trick. Like they're having fun.
Yeah, like a dissociation from like the accountability for your actions that comes with alcohol or drug use.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. So, how did you come to find this movie? With just looking?
I watched it in theaters,
Yeah.
actually. So I believe I saw the trailer, which was at the time the party sequence. So that the lively song, and then like they're touching the hand and they do which is like it was a TikTok trend actually, that like the falling over camera.
Oh, really?
And so it was like they're using that and like her singing in French, and it just looked like a really fun time with horror as well, because you're also seeing them with like the black eyes and the scariness. So I went right out to see it, actually with a longtime friend Jeff, who's like my go-to horror watcher if Cat isn't available.
Yeah.
So we watched it in theaters, like alone. We went like on a Wednesday night in like Camden. We were like the only ones who were watching it, and it was such an experience to be there. And we really like if it's a quiet theater because we're talkers, so we're definitely ones like, oh, what is that? Or oh, did you see this? Or like Jeff kept being like, why is there so much yellow? She's always wearing yellow. And I was like, Jeff, she just likes the color yellow. I was like, what? Or like, oh, the kangaroo, because that's like their deers, like when she hits the kangaroo, those kinds of things. But it was such an experience to watch it, and I couldn't stop talking about it. Like I bothered Kat so much. We wanted to cover it last year, and like at the end I was like, we have to figure out a way to talk about it. Talk to me. And so then finally we got it onto the Ghouls. But it was one where I forced like Kat and my husband Mike to sit down and watch it, and it was a film where I watched them watch it, because I remembered my visceral first experience, and I'll say it was eye-opening for me because I'm not super sensitive to gore and to like body harm, but Kat is, and so watching like Kat like get really emotional and watching that and seeing like the severity of those, I was like, oh right, that's here too. Like I was so much more distracted by like
It's just
Everything
cool.
yeah. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is so rough. This is very rough. And so I made it a point, like, this is one of my favorite movies. I highly recommend, but I always add the caveat, like it is graphic and like can be really intense.
Yeah, like heavy.
And if that's not something you can deal with.
Well, you touched on it, Kat, because you said that this is a movie that is not about the jump scares.
Yeah.
Because there really aren't any. I can't think of anything. But it is about the mood. It is about, and it's about that mood, that tension that builds up. And despite the supernatural element to it, it is about a very relatable tension. It's the idea that you could have a final word with someone that passed. When there's a moment in here where Mia, realizes that some young boy has channeled her mother, and you see her face change on the screen. And the other thing that I like about this movie is like the music doesn't cue you in on anything.
No, yeah.
Right? So like the music doesn't forewarn you like there's a shift coming. And when that shift comes, man, I mean, as someone who has lost their parents,
Right.
man, boy, I was right there with her.
Right.
I was right there with her. Like, no, just a little bit longer. You want to hold on to that moment so much so. It's so powerful.
And then when you add to it where there's this, it's barely subtext, and then it bubbles up in the last half hour, these questions about how her mother died and what happened. And her father makes a decision to keep a piece of evidence away from her so that she ends up having these questions so that again, like you said, you 100% understand. And as far as the mood, I have to say with all of the gore and the sort of body horror, I think the most affecting scenes for me were the few scenes with just her and her father,
Yeah.
Oh, really?
where you could feel that. Like I thought
Yeah.
the direction did such a great job of showing the emptiness of
Their
this
relationship.
house. And it's
Yeah.
one thing
Yeah.
for a place to be empty because it's empty. It's another thing for a place to be empty that didn't used to be empty.
Yeah.
And I thought they did like the conversation between father and Mia, I thought was so well done.
And it's a very nice visual cue. If I remember, a lot of the scenes, one of them was always a little out of focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah, absolutely.
They
Yeah.
didn't,
Yeah.
look directly at each other
Yeah.
until
They
the
talk
end.
like
Yeah. And they're actually like, I thought there's a moment where he's trying to talk to her and she's washing the dishes and she can't hear him over the water.
Yeah.
And it's so well done because they're out of sync.
Yeah.
Like they're actually out of sync with each other.
And who hasn't had that scene?
Right.
Who hasn't had that scene where she's washing the dishes, he's talking to her, she doesn't want to hear from him.
Right.
So she turns down the water and you can see her face. What?
Right.
You know, just let me just get through this. Let me just get back to the water to just take me away from this. Oh my God.
And for me, that is what always elevates horror. Like if I don't care about the characters, then when the monster comes, well, you just don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it did such a great job, not even, not just with Mia's family, but with the other family and kind of setting up the stakes. So yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah. It was also just like a really accurate depiction of like trauma in that age group too. Like she's going through something very horrific that you would not want anyone to experience, but let alone like a teenager at a time period where they like really need their mom. And then like that combined with like developmentally, they don't have the cognitive development to see that far in the future. So like they are asking questions and have like this connection to their peers, and their peers are like, I don't know what you're going through and I do not know how to help. So like everyone throughout the whole movie fails her.
Yeah. They
And it's just very hurts.
I love the fact that they act like teenagers, and it's at the point
Yeah.
where it's like my little brother is perhaps possessed by some type of spirit. We've gone through this whole thing. We're seeing ghosts. We now know that someone has been murdered. What do you mean you were laying in the bed with my boyfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's the thing you're mad about.
Like it's such a wonderful moment.
Yeah.
It's like
It's real.
it's look.
It's real.
I've been looking at you this whole movie, looking at my boyfriend.
Yeah, and it's like that's not what's important. Right now.
I'll say priorities,
There's some
kids.
awful things.
Even the
happening.
ghosts know. The ghosts were calling it out. They're like through him. They're like, I
Yeah.
want to touch you. She's like, oh my God. It was, they were like, we see you, girl. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very teenager, very like on the phone, like you said, bringing your younger brother to the party.
Yeah.
Like having to, like, you can't go unless you go with him.
talk.
Yeah.
Real talk. That is real. And you also touched on the other thing that people can learn a lesson from: practical effects.
Yes.
Because there were so many scenes in this movie where I was thinking, I would be curious if they had the bigger budget, would they have CG'd some of those?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because that's just not their brand.
The other
But-
whole thing is
But it works so well. I mean, just, there was a time, ladies and gentlemen, where it was makeup. You had to make somebody look disgusting,
Yeah.
look like they drowned and were all bloated up, make a corpse look like a corpse.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the body horror and the kind of distended limbs and everything, it reminded me of An American Werewolf in London. Like that, when he's turning into the werewolf, and it's so much of the distended
Yeah.
limbs, and that's Ron Baker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love, and it grounds it. It doesn't. It's not a green screen. It's not. So there's an immediacy to it with the makeup.
Yeah, I think it like takes that part of it seriously because like there's a time and a place for camp, and I love like campy, gory horror where it's like a body doesn't do that. There's not that much body. There's not that much blood. Like I love Substance. That was amazing, right? But this was like it took the gore as serious as they took like the messaging of the film, and like that's something that could happen to a body. Or like that scientifically would happen, which can make it even more terrifying for people watching it because you can't disassociate and be like, it's just a movie, it's silly. It's like, oh God.
Oh yeah, like it's real. Like even it's like a supernatural concept. You would think like you could make it silly, but they took it like really honest.
Yeah, which makes it all the more plausible, which makes it all the more eerie and a little bit discomforting.
Yeah.
Watching this film. But does it earn the title Talk to Me?
I mean, they literally say talk to me to invite it in.
Yeah, they say the name of the movie many times in the movie.
It's actually a theme.
Yeah, I feel like they have.
Okay.
You got to say talk to me. Just letting it in.
And if you want to dig into it like that, you know, talking about the millennial perspective, I do think that this sort of distance that we've been talking about with the technology and emotions and all, everyone in here is just trying to connect with one another. Like obviously Mia is the main one, but I thought Paul and Jasmine.
I think Jasmine.
I think Jade. You know, I thought Paul and Jade kept kind of missing each other. And I have to say, I also read Paul is gay. And I thought part of what was going on is that Paul hadn't quite, you know, they're in high school. So it's like there are all these characters, even the two chuckleheads with the hand, you know, because I watched it with the subtitles on. And there's so much when everything kind of goes wonky with the two of them in the background going, you know, I thought you did. I told you to. This too. It's like no one is actually talking to
the whole film.
The whole film is about that.
The dad not talking to her and telling her what actually happened to her mom. And I agree about him being gay because the ghost is saying it disgusts him to think about that. And she interprets it as he wants to touch my friend, but he doesn't.
No.
He very clearly doesn't. He's like, oh, that was silly when we were young. So I agree with that.
Good read on that. Good read on that on Talk to Me from 2023, what we're reviewing tonight here on the Micheaux Mission. What do we think of, you know, this is primarily brought to the mission because we review Black films.
Sure.
Because of the performance of Sophie Lane in the lead role, more or less, Mia. What do we think of her performance?
It's phenomenal. And I think it's a very intentional, and I'll let Kat actually talk more about it too, because it was in their section. But I think it's very intentional that she is a young Black woman who's experiencing this, and that the people who are in her life, like this found family that lets her down, is white. And there's like the way that they react to her being like claiming that she's at fault for what happens to this kid and things. There's a lot of like there's certain language that comes up that she's not holding her own daughter to the same standards.
Yeah, lots of like you can see like the underlying bias even in this like found family. They're supposed to love and care for you. Like this is like conflict. And then like the ending is very tragic, but like because of what is happening throughout the like looking at it from like this is what trauma does when you're totally isolated, when you don't have anyone to authentically connect to and talk to. It's very true to that. So it's just like extra devastating because it's like she's isolated on all fronts. So I thought her performance was amazing. I like wanted to cry like 90% of the movie just because I felt for her. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, you really feel it. I think the first time you feel it is early in the film where Mia is sitting with Jade and the mother comes walking in and she says something about, I think Mia maybe smoked something or... Yeah,
she says like something about smoking weed and Mia says like, I did it one time, like offhandedly. Right. And it's inferred that like Jade probably was doing that as well.
Right.
But that's enough that she references it later when it's like, I knew that you were doing this.
Right. Yes.
Like, so the whole time she had this like thought in the back of her mind that this girl's corrupting her daughter.
Yeah, like you're the bad influence on my daughter.
Yeah, of course you would do that. And it's really gross to feel that. But there's also the added level of like the fact that there is like inclusion of like the native peoples of Australia who are in there. And they're like one of the best parts of the film, to be honest. And I think like them being able to be authentically themselves too, having like a non-binary character, like all of those levels to it were really, I think it was all very intentional.
Yeah. Well, again, I think your generational lens is like the primary lens to look at this through, where these characters that in previous generations would have been cannon fodder, would have been comic relief, wouldn't have had any agency whatsoever. As you said, like the native peoples are actually kind of the driving force, and you know, they're not punished for it. Like there's that really provocative moment where they're talking about the origin of the hand. He says, you know, some white people shit. Yeah. And they did, but it centers him as he says it. No one is, this, and it doesn't, you know, he's not some sage.
Yeah.
Native spirit.
He's like a dumb jock boy.
Yes.
You know, he just gets to be a dumb jock boy.
The indigenous person gets to be a dumb jock boy. You know, it's
That's
not
a win.
Predator with him taking his shirt off and, you know,
Yeah.
the
He
spirit.
was so
world is
fun. I was like, if he handed me the hand, I'd be like, okay, maybe I'll try it. I'd be like, okay, maybe.
Gabe, no, that's the whole thing.
cool. Again, this is exactly how it happens. Like, this is exactly how, like, those are the guys that talk you into doing something that 10 years after the fact, you're like, I can't believe I did fill in the blank.
Yeah, real talk. So, would you recommend that people see Talk to Me?
Yeah. Of course, with the, check out trigger warnings if that's some, like, because not everyone loves, horror. And I will say, like, it is a film where it's okay if you, like, close your eyes during some of those gory scenes. You will still get the understanding of what's happening.
So, from the sound design.
Yeah, you'll hear it for sure. And that could, be emotional. But yeah, like, even in watching it, like, the second time, Kat left for a part of it, came back, and it's still...
Because I knew it was going to happen.
Which part?
Yeah.
the
with
the headbang. Yeah.
I will say of all the things in, because I'm like you, like somebody, I'll be like, okay. But there's a scene in here where the young boy he's cracking his head like up against like a table and walls and stuff like that. And it is jarring.
Yeah.
One is jarring when it happens.
Yeah.
Because it comes boom. And then as it repeatedly happens, you just see the effects of it. Oh.
And like you said, the sound design is...
Oh, yeah, because you hear it.
Because you hear the crack. It is visceral, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're emotionally attached to him. Like,
Well,
he becomes your little brother.
Right.
And, like, seeing him get hurt so many times and then seeing the reactions of everyone around him, like, it just also hurts emotionally versus, like, if something silly like gore would happen, you could easily just be like, okay, let's,
Yeah. And it kind of plays upon the fact that it's like you're watching through a screen and you just are like desperately hoping someone inside the screen will do something and you have no ability to help and you like want to.
Which is also what happens in the space too.
Yeah.
How many people are standing around and not acting until the sister puts her hand out. So it's also like we're representing like the people there.
Well, to your point, we're all kind of voyeurs. It's like they're looking through they're all videotaping it on their phones.
It takes them a minute to really realize, like, this is real life.
This is
happening.
like
right.
We should stop him from doing
Yeah.
Right. This isn't a show.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Vincent? Would you recommend?
I would recommend it. I think all jokes is, about, well, I didn't scare me because they were all doing a bunch of stuff I never would have done. I don't think it's scary like that.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Like I do think it is way more, I think it's sadder. than
Well, certainly
scarier.
by the end, which we're
Right.
not giving away purposely.
Right. Oh, well, even without the end, like you said, as someone who has lost their parents, like that moment where she thinks, I can have another moment.
Mm.
Just and it's two people who don't have unanswered questions. Like for a young person and weren't 15 when it happened. Right. You know, you can just imagine. And I actually thought it was a really good character study.
Oh my God.
Of this character, Mia. And you know, to it being a Black film, like you said, I do think you get this sense of isolation that I think a lot of Black kids and just minorities in general have in these mostly white spaces, and which then informs the decisions that she makes. Sophie
Lane. Yeah.
What else has she done? Is this her first film?
She's in a Netflix show.
In a Netflix show.
What is she in on Netflix?
What is
It's
that
a
called?
similar energy where she's like going through it
Like,
emotionally.
she's suffering from, I think, anorexia or some other eating
She's
disorder.
Sophie
Good.
Wilde,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Her
she's
performance
good.
is amazing. I know that she has a Netflix show where she's
Yeah.
the lead again.
Yeah.
You don't know me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I would recommend it. And I would recommend it as someone who doesn't, like, I don't do horror films. I don't do, but I really enjoyed this.
Yeah. I think we often have that kind of discussion with people who, you know, if we talk about our show and they're like, well, I don't like horror films. And our response is always like, well, you haven't found the horror film
Right,
for you. Because there's like, you know, people think Halloween
Yeah.
or they think Saw or any of those kinds of things. And like, oh no, there's horror for everyone. Like, trust me, we can find you.
Everyone.
Well, there is. I mean, some people still put Godzilla movies in horror,
It is.
you know? So,
It's terrifying.
well,
Some creature feature and, you know, nuclear energy. It's about, you know, consumerism. It's about nationalism. There's a lot going on in Godzilla.
you ain't gonna tell me. Love me some Godzilla.
Two itty bitty Japanese women who can talk to a giant moth.
I love Mothra.
Of course. You would, Mark.
Well, I will make it unanimous. I would definitely recommend Talk to Me. It's a very affecting film. The whole scene with the mother. There's a scene also where Mia is laying down and her mother comes behind her to hug her and lay her as sleeps. And there was a part of me, I didn't know whether or not that scene was a memory or if it was like in real time. But I didn't care because it's, again, as someone, if you lose a parent, it's what you're feeling. It's what you
What
feel.
you would want.
It's what you're wanting.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was such a sweet little moment. My read was that was never her mother.
Yeah.
Like it was something pretending to be. So why would this demon shapeshifter have this? Unless by your read, like you said, it was a memory that she had.
I think it was.
It gets into her, though.
It does, but
time in her.
the reason why I wasn't sure whether or not that was a memory was because, if I remember correctly, the mother, when we see the mother kind of like demonized or whatever, she definitely has demon aspect to her. And if I remember that scene, she wasn't. But you only could see her from the side, but I don't
Right.
think she was.
And it was after she tried to eat old boy's foot.
His
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will say with the being, one of the biggest things is like the water motif because the spirit that she does commune with clearly drowned. Like,
Right, right,
you know,
right. All this-
so you always hear water.
Bloated,
Which is
yeah.
unrelated. Like, but there's the extra layer to the argument that it could be her mother who somehow finds her because her mother died on a rainy day. And that's mentioned as well. So it is kind of like, I think it becomes a mix of magical realism where you can interpret it either way. But I think the usual interpretation is that she's twisting it. But I think because they're in you, and if they spent longer time in you, she might have her memories. I will say my one gripe with the film is that like the thing that convinces Mia at first that this is her mom is that she uses her nickname, which is just me. Which her name is Mia. It's like, that's an easy guess, babe.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like, me? You know, like if it was like Junebug or
Right, right.
Hey,
Yeah,
Scooty, hey, Scooty Booty.
Put in
yeah, something,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
maternal and cute that would have like been totally different. But me, I was like, okay, they're just guessing. This is like
You just
TV
removed a
psychic.
letter. Yeah.
My gripe, I did need a little bit more explanation about how these two chuckleheads ended up with
With his hand.
with the hand from the previous chucklehead who had it.
The brother gave it to him.
Yeah, but how does that chucklehead get it?
Yeah, he got it from people he thought it was his friend. I think it gets passed on. Somebody gets too hurt
So
and they pass it on.
It's just sort of a.
Yeah, because the boy at
like
the
a weird-
Get
beginning.
this out my house.
It's
Yeah.
like a dumbass teenager monkey paw.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
All right.
Yeah. And it connects to like no one ever talks to anybody about anything. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like all this trauma happened. We're going to pass it off to someone else, but we're not going to tell them all this trauma happened.
Right.
Like, keep doing that.
Just
over and
tag
over
your
again.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your turn to suffer.
Yeah. Which is like kind of like the whole downfall of the film, which is generational trauma.
Very true.
Or trauma within the generation.
Yeah.
Intergenerational trauma.
Intra-generation. Yeah. There you go.
Well, there you go, folks. That is our review of Talk to Me. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week, we have a couple of things that we want to tell you about. First, Wednesday, October 23rd, Bryn Mawr Film Festival, the Micheaux Mission, along with the Be Real Black Cinema Club, will be returning with the Be Real Micheaux screening series for our screening of Attack the Block. Wednesday, October 23rd at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale right now at brynmarfilm.org. And you want to come there and be on time. One, because we are, as always, giving out free soft pretzels. And that's enough of a reason. But if for some reason that's not enough of a reason for you, I've got even a better reason. Because on that night, we will be screening before Attack the Block, a short film created by the Ghouls Next Door.
So filmmaker.
As we will be screening Jolly Butcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you want to give people the 30-second pitch on Jolly Butcher?
So Jolly Butcher is a killer content creator who has a special unboxing video starring me, Kat, and my husband. I'm trying to get like the brothers, like my YouTube fame, and then make a real film. So
Yeah.
come see it.
All right.
Oh boy. Jolly Butcher, Attack the Block, Wednesday, October 23rd at Bryn Mawr Film Institute, folks. And if you like what the Ghouls Next Door have bubbling up in their cauldron, then you can find them every place that podcasts be. The Ghouls Next Door on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube. They've got a YouTube channel as well. They've got it going on. 290 episodes.
Very nice.
Still going strong.
Coming up, you know what you're doing for 300? Or is it too early to
We
announce?
want to do like a live show, but we're figuring it out. Yes.
God, yes, 300. You got to do a live show.
It's been a minute since we've done a live show. I think the last one was at the Fan Expo.
Yeah.
But
Which was like
Yeah.
2021, 2020.
something.
It was
Yeah.
a long time
But it's usually standing room only for the Ghouls.
That's right. That's right. The Ghouls, they pack the room, folks. Y'all better make your...
Yes, in Philly.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's true.
Hey.
Yeah.
So you better get there. Well, let us know because we would definitely want to be in this in the room.
And we will be having our own talkback series that's happening actually the day after.
Yes.
That we're going to be at the Rotunda watching I Saw the TV Glow, which is another one of those generational, it's our generation,
Emotion.
you know, kind of coming of age and just discovering yourself and a little bit of spooky in there. And we'll have a talk back, and that is on the 24th, right? And at the Rotunda in Philly.
Nice.
All
And if
right.
people want to get tickets, should they go?
They can check out our social media. We do have posts about it. Otherwise, they can go to cinespeak.org and check out their events. But yeah, we'll be posting on social media. And as we said, we are on YouTube. We do dress up for our episodes. So if you want to see me looking like the Talk to Me folks or anything, you could check it out and view any of our backlog. We've done Attack the Block too. I love to say there's a Ghouls for that. Whether it's a horror film or like an issue, someone's like pregnancy. I'm like, there's a Ghouls for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you both.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
You.
Aw, anytime.
Anytime.
Anytime. We want to come to a comedy. Okay, come on.
Yeah. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. All right. If you want to have your voices heard here on the Micheaux Mission, you can email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's micheauxmission@gmail.com. You can also find us on all the social media of your choice, whether it be Instagram, X, Facebook, at Micheaux Mission. If you're watching us live streaming on YouTube, then you know that we're on YouTube as well, where you can subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of when we go live, as well as when we put up all of our clips and shorts and all of our special videos that go up on YouTube at Micheaux Mission. The Micheaux Mission streams live every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. right here from YUNKJunk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace. If you want to book yourself in one of the fabulous studios here at YUNKJunk that are manned by the thousands and thousands of Dylan clones that we can see right here across this great vista, then you have to email the Dylan Prime at YUNKJunk.com. That's DYLAN at YUNKJunk.com. You'll be glad you did, but you got to get in there right now because he's telling me that they are getting crazy booked. He's now working Sundays, and he does not like that because, he's a Methodist. All right. I don't know. Anyway, the Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which will be returning next week here in Bootober with my pick for our review. This is a film I actually saw not too long ago, but boy, this was made for the Micheaux Mission. It is from 2021, I believe. No, 2020. It's all about a refugee couple that makes a harrowing escape from war-torn South Sudan. His house.
Such a good movie.
Ouch emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch.
Yes, but it's a good one.
All right.
It's a good one. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.